wanted to ask you two questions real quick. One, did you enjoy being your own agent this year? And could you maybe talk about your decision to do that? And can you tell Bucs fans whether you plan to play football in the 2021 season?
Yeah, to answer your first question, I definitely enjoyed being a part of the process and understanding all the particular details in real time. I think having an agent, you don't always get everything real time just because a lot of conversations happen super late at night and whatnot. So definitely excited about that and look forward to having the opportunity to do that again this off season. And what was your second question?
Steve, you can go ahead and unmute and ask your second question again.
Do you plan to play NFL football in 2021?
I look forward to having the opportunity to play football in 2021, hopefully here with the Bucs.
So we'll take our next question from Nate Davis with USA Today. Nate, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Ndamukong, we were just talking to Lori Locust, obviously a bit of a trailblazer there, but just wanted to, as a guy that's been in several organizations, can you just talk about the maybe what distinguishes her and the impact that she's had with your time with Tampa?
Yeah, Coach Lowe has been a great coach. She's done an amazing job with us the last 2 years. She definitely is a stickler on the details and make sure each and every one of us in the room are accountable. She brings that motherly feel, and truthfully, she is just an overall great person. And excited to continue to work with her.
Okay, next we'll take our next question from Adam with Troy Athletics. Adam, you can go ahead and unmute.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, obviously they brought in Steve McClendon earlier this year. Todd and Casey both had experience with him with the Jets. What did you see from Steve this year, and what kind of presence has he been on the team for you guys?
Yeah, Steve stepped in immediately and had an amazing role for us, just from the standpoint of losing, unfortunately, Vita Vea to an ankle injury. And really there wasn't much of a drop-off by any means, and it was great that obviously Steve has been in this type of defense before and been with Coach Bowles and Coach Casey. So he came in, was just one of the guys. We actually have a mutual friend, and really was just one of the guys and came in and did a great job and has continued to do so even as Vita's come back.
We'll take our next question from Patrick Finley. Patrick, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Ndamukong, I'm curious how you would describe Coach Bowles' aggressiveness in terms of play calling and attitude. It seems to have rubbed off on people.
Yeah, Coach Bowles is definitely aggressive and finds many creative ways to get after the quarterback and the running back. I love the defense and have had an opportunity to be all over in different positions, which is one of the things I'm most excited about being able to do in this particular defense. And I think that's what sets him apart. He's willing to put guys in positions to make plays versus really, this is my defense, this is the way you need to run it, and either you fit in or you don't fit into it, which I think is what's proven to be very successful for this team and going to continue to be that way as well.
Okay, next we'll go to Jeff Arnold. Jeff, you can go ahead and unmute.
And Ndamukong, from Jeffrey Arnold from the Portland Oregonian. Can you talk about what you've learned after playing in Super Bowl 50 with the Rams, 53, sorry, with the Rams, and some of the lessons you learned from that you may be applying to this Super Bowl as you approach it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is going to be just honing on the schedule when we arrive to the stadium, pregame warm-up, longer warm-ups, as well as at halftime. It's a longer halftime with all the entertainment and whatnot. And so those just different nuances that you have to be prepared for. I would probably look at those as rain delays or lightning delays and kind of go back to my schedules from those aspects. And then really you got 2 weeks, as we did from the previous year, to prepare for this team that we're going to go against in Kansas City. So a lot of time to study, look at things a lot longer and a lot deeper, which you don't necessarily always have the ability to do when you're in the divisional round or in the wild card round or in the NFC Championship. So those kind of reach back to some of those other pieces, and then also plugged into some of my other close friends and family that have allowed me to be successful when it comes to playing the sport and gaining tips and talking about football with them as well.
Okay, next we'll go to the South Florida Tribune. You can go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Ndamukong. First, what were your reactions about the Matt Stafford trade to LA? Obviously, you played for the Rams, so are you happy to see him get a fresh start with an opportunity to win out in LA?
I think it was an interesting trade. I think Matt had an opportunity to, I'm assuming, have some decision-making power in going to that particular team. So if that's the case, happy for him and moving forward and from that aspect. I actually spoke to Jared Goff the other day when it actually happened, just to let him know that he's going to a great city in Detroit. I'm excited for him, and let me know if he needs anything. I know a lot of people up there, a lot of great people in the community that will be happy to help him get his feet settled and whatnot. And so I'm excited to see kind of how that happens for both teams and kind of go from there.
Okay, next we will go to Joe Fan. Joe, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Dominic, kind of a big question here, but just growing up as a Portland kid, now in year 11 in the NFL, how would you kind of describe this journey? Do you maybe have some different perspectives now that maybe you did when you were younger?
Yeah, different perspectives for sure. It's been a whirlwind. I've been able to have a great career to date and excited to be in the situation that I'm in right now, still playing at a very high level and really having an opportunity to go win a Super Bowl. I think this is my ultimate goal, is to win a Super Bowl individually. I've been super successful with all individual accolades and stuff like that, but hitting this team goal is going to be the most important piece to be able to host and lift up that Lombardi trophy.
Okay, next we will go to Leo Haggerty. Leo, you can go ahead and unmute.
And Dominic, not to slight any of your teammates, but how nice was it to look in at the ball up in Green Bay and see number 50 there? And second question, I asked Warren Sapp to describe winning the Super Bowl in one word. What would it mean? He said immortality. What would your one-word answer be?
Yeah, it was great to be able to have Vita back. I mean, I joke with him all the time. It's like, man, you're a great player, and you take the double teams off of me, allow me to have one-on-one opportunities to make plays, just because you're such a big dominant guy that if they don't put two people on you, it's going to be a world of hurt. So a lot of fun and excitement to have Vita back. And then to your second question about winning a Super Bowl, I haven't had an opportunity to, but my one-word answer to that of winning it, which hopefully happens this time around, would just be elated.
Okay, next we will go to Peter Carline. Peter, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hello. I was just wondering what it was like to face Brady in a Super Bowl and how glad you are that he's your quarterback in this Super Bowl coming up.
Yeah, it was great to face him in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Wish I had had the opportunity to win that. I was very confident that we had the opportunity to do so, but just came up short. I played against Brady, it seems like every single year in my career. We were in the same division for 3 years straight, so I got to see him twice a year, which was always fun. Some good times, some bad times, and so forth. So I'm happy that we're on the same team now, and we can collaborate to go hopefully win a championship.
Okay, next we'll go to Dave Burkett from the Detroit Free Press. Dave, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Ndamukong, good to see you back in the Super Bowl again. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, two things for you. One, you were just sort of talking about that being the ultimate goal. So I was curious, what comes next for you? If you achieve that goal, or do you still want to keep playing? Are you done? What comes next in that regard? And then second, there was a pretty big trade over the weekend involving two of your old teams and two of your old quarterbacks. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that too.
Yeah, I think being able to have the opportunity to win, I'm excited to be able to do that and want to hone into that particular moment and really this week to be able to take care of that business. Anything thereafter, I feel like I'm playing at a very high level still and still have the want to play. Although I have family coming with my beautiful wife who's pregnant with twins. So I think we'll have to have a discussion around that and me continuing to play, but I have a desire to continue to play as well. And I think she'll probably leave that up to me. And then with the trade aspect with Matt and Jared, like I said before, I think it's an interesting trade. Obviously, LA gave up a lot of stuff. They've been keen to giving up a lot of first round picks and whatnot to get what they feel is what's best for their team. So more power to them. And like I said, I mentioned that I spoke to Jared Goff the other day and just wanted to wish him the best and let him know if he needs anything in Detroit, because it's a city that I love, and I got a lot of quality relationships there that I'm happy to pass on to him to make sure he's comfortable and gets a fresh start there.
Okay, next we'll go to Claudia. Claudia, you can go ahead and unmute.
Yes. Hi, congratulations, first of all. So Patrick Mahomes and his offense find a new gear at the end of the game. How do you shut them down when the game is on the line and the Chiefs have the ball?
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes down to us as the front seven to take care of business and getting after the quarterback. Quarterback is the key to their offense, and he's very successful when they're able to run the ball, which we want to be able to eliminate and make sure that they don't have the ability to do that. And then secondarily, I would say it's making sure that we're pressuring him if we're not getting him down to the ground, which we have the ability to do as well, and have been able to do that throughout the offseason, throughout the postseason against most recently Aaron Rodgers in New Orleans, as well as Washington Redskins throughout the playoffs.
Okay, next we will go to Lindsay Jones. Lindsay, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Ndamukong. I hope you haven't been asked this before, and if you have, I apologize. But what's it been like playing for Coach Locust, and what has she maybe brought to your position group that, maybe you wouldn't have had from somebody who had a different perspective than she does?
Yeah, as I said before, she's brought motherly love to the organization and really to our defensive line group. She's very keen on details and focusing on the different things that we have from our footwork during practice to our meetings and what we need to accomplish and make sure everybody's on point, especially our young guys. And I enjoy just being able to communicate with her personally during the games, making sure I'm on point, just check up on little things that we have going on and rotations and whatnot. And so definitely a pleasure to continue to work with her, and I look forward to doing so in the future.
Okay, next we will go to Raynor. Raynor, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Ndamukong. Just want to know, what did you learn from the first meeting when you played the Chiefs in week 12, I think it was?
Yeah, it's good film for us to review. We understand that they have got a very high-powered offense and a lot of speed on the football field. I think big plays is what hurt us the most throughout that game, especially downfield and not allowing allowing the quarterback to get out of the pocket and make big plays. He did that both in the run game and in the pass game. I remember some short yardage games or short yardage plays was he was able to use his feet to get the first down, which is unacceptable for us on the defense side of the ball. So we've got a lot of things to take from that game and hone in on, as well as watch previous film that they've played in their playoff games that against 3-4 teams and understanding how they're going to potentially come out against us.
Okay, next we will go to Patrick Headland. Patrick, you can go ahead and unmute.
Yes, hi, Ndamukong. Calling from the Swedish broadcast here. Seeing like you're one of the best D linemen in the world, and you're going up in a world stage in front of the whole world. What are some tips you would say to a young aspiring athletes across the world to reach the levels of athleticism and levels of professionalism as yourself?
Yeah, I would say for a young D tackle or a young defensive player coming up and wanting to aspire to be in the NFL is just understanding your craft, be able to hone in on those details. Don't be afraid to learn from others and watch film and take notes. And work ethic and effort is something that you can't teach. I think you can teach all the rest, but if you have something that's special, that's built into you from a high energy motor and detail oriented young man or woman, the sky is the limit. And that's how I kind of looked at it, because my first love was soccer, or in Europe as they call football.
Okay, next we will go to Colin Paul Macklin. Colin, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Ndamukong, how you doing? So my question is, back when you played in Detroit, you were considered one of the most feared players in the league, and for a good reason. And do you still consider yourself to be that same beast, or has your mentality changed at all?
No, my mentality has not changed. I definitely believe that I am still fierce and ferocious, and still make my presence known. I also have teammates that are just as good and playing at a very high level. So it's a collective group. And I think that's most important. I think a lot of people don't understand being an elite defensive player. You're only as strong as your weakest link. And we don't have any weak links on this particular defense, but we want to have a collectively strong group that all shares in our wealth and success.
Okay, next we will go to Patrick Yen. Patrick, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hi. In Coach Rapone's press conference, he said the veterans' impact on the young guys has been absolutely critical for development. Do you have any stories or specific examples of stuff like that?
Yeah, I think all of our veterans, whether it's Levante, myself, JPP, Shaq, all take our particular time with the young guys to be able to help them, give them advice, show them the ropes. For me specifically, I love to work with the guys in my room, from Will Golston and Vita Vea, as well as Nacho. And then if I'm getting outside of my room, I know Sean Bunting Murphy is a young guy that I've taken a good liking to, as also with Winfield, just making sure those young guys see a lot of promise in them, and they've been able to do a tremendous job for us. So just wrapping my arms around them and making sure that they're in a good situation and give them any advice that I can.
Okay, next we will go to Joe Fan. Joe, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Dominic, another Portland question for you. Just curious how many roots you still have in the Pacific Northwest, and if maybe in the off season you have time to come back and visit, and things you maybe enjoy about coming back home that are unique to other parts in the country.
Yeah, I love being back home in Portland. I'm there majority of the off season. I'll probably be there within a week after the Super Bowl to see my family and friends, and probably start training, which I do majority of that on Nike's campus, which is a great partner of mine. And then, just love the food. I'm a foodie. So whether it's Bay's Hot Chicken or Super Deluxe, or getting to Papi Chulos, I definitely enjoy the food scene in Portland and get to kind of take a little bit of a break of what you want to call it, easygoing eating, comfort foods.
Okay, next we will go to Jeffrey Arnold. Jeff, you can go ahead and unmute.
And Ndamukong, after your experience in Super Bowl 53, there's a lot of young players on the current team that don't have that same experience. What are you telling them in terms of how to handle all of this, including what you're doing right now, the media obligations and the approach that you need to have going into the big game?
Yeah, the biggest thing is to make sure that you kind of get all your tickets and your families and friends organized. Obviously, we're dealing with a pandemic as well, so you got to be smart and safe around that aspect as well. With regard to the media, embrace it, have fun with it, be smart. No bulletin board material, obviously, for the other team, but this is a great platform. Use it. Be able to be truthful and honest, and be able to speak to how you truthfully feel. And then with regard to the game, I think I mentioned this earlier, just be prepared for every twist and turn, just because you don't know what's going to particularly happen with kind of how our schedules are just with the long halftime session as well as pregame is going to be a lot longer. So there's just different nuances that happen in a Super Bowl that I can give them advice on, but still, even to this day, you don't know exactly all the different things that are going to take place, and you just kind of got to be prepared and open for all things.
Okay, next we'll go to Silas Spade. Silas, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hi, thank you. And Ndamukong, thank you, appreciate it. You guys have been pretty aggressive on pass rush this season. How are you going to prepare for a guy like Mahomes on Sunday?
Yeah, we're excited for a guy like Mahomes on Sunday. He's a very elusive quarterback. I think they've only given up 29 sacks on the season, but I think we have the ability to get after him. We did so the first time around them. I know I got to him a couple of times. I believe Shaq did, as well as JPP. So we understand being able to be at a full force and being able to have some guys back like Vita ready to go. We're going to have an opportunity to get after them. It's about just making sure we get it done because we believe that the game is going to come down to us, making sure we can stop them and then make sure our offense can go up and put up more points.
Okay, next we'll go to Raynor again. So Raynor, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Duncan, thanks. When you compare your team from Super Bowl 53, your defense and now your defense, what is the strength of your now? And if you compare it to then, what do you miss?
Yeah, I think the only difference between the two defenses that I've been a part of that have both made it to the Super Bowl. One, we had a little bit more of a veteran presence with the LA team, and then with this team, it's a little bit more of a mixture of veteran and young guys, which I think is a good situation because you don't have bad habits from older things that guys have experienced. And whatnot. And so I think I'm excited with what we have going into this game. And I think the young guys are all well prepared and they've had an amazing postseason thus far. And it's only right that they continue to ascend into hopefully winning a Super Bowl.
Okay, next we will go to Mark Topkin with the Tampa Bay Times. Mark, you can go ahead and unmute.
Thank you. You've played against a lot of good tight ends over the years. What does Kelsey bring and kind of the personality comparison, if you're aware of him a little bit, kind of baby Gronk is thrown around?
Yeah, Travis Kelsey is an elite tight end. I've been playing at a high level for many years. Have gotten to know him in the off season a little bit. And he's just a guy that has some great swagger and definitely backs it all up on the football field. His acceleration, be able to keep separation with linebackers and even DBs. And he's big and strong. So if you put a DB against him, he's going to be able to jump over them and overpower them. So we've got our hands full with regard to him. We want to make sure we get our hands on top of him. But really, if we're getting to his quarterback and they can't get the ball and they can't connect, that's really our ultimate goal.
Okay, next we will go to George Radney. George, you can go ahead and unmute.
Oh, good. Good afternoon, Ndamukong Suh, George Radney, Challenger Community News. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Pretty good. I was just wondering, for all the years you've been playing, how do you keep yourself mentally focused each year to train and keep your body right to be able to come back for another season? How do you keep the mental aspect of getting yourself together for the upcoming season?
Yeah, from the mental and physical aspect of preparing for each and every single year, I've got a great team. I got an amazing performance director, get great naturopaths, as well as physical therapists that I work with. And so just a combination of all of that coming together, as well as my training partners that I have back home in Portland, are key to me preparing each and every year. And so all my training partners are younger than me, so they obviously push me as well as I push them and make sure I'm staying at a high level alongside them. So for me, overall, just from a mental aspect and want to play this game and continue to play at a high level is where my excitement lives. And then being able to have an opportunity like I have right now, being able to play in a Super Bowl and have a chance to win. So that's what really keeps me sharp, as well as the business opportunities that I have off the field, just being able to compartmentalize all those aspects, which I think a lot of people don't realize is what keeps me focused and sharp through my day-to-day grind of preparing for a regular season.
Okay, next we'll go to Hal Habib. Hal, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Ndamukong. Good to speak with you again. Going back a few years ago when you signed the big contract down here in Miami, I'm wondering what impact your experience in Miami has had on you, both professionally and personally. How do you look back on that?
Yeah, my time in Miami was one that I'm very grateful for. I had a great opportunity to go down there and help that organization change around. I still believe I have some lasting effects there. I've been able to stay in close contact with ownership as well as front office folks, as well as even some of their player performance directors that they have there. So overall, I enjoyed my time there. I wish I could have been there a little bit longer and been in a better situation, but some folks made their decisions, and I had to move on and move to bigger and better things. So overall, I'm thankful for the opportunity that I had there, but there's always things always happen for a reason, and I've always believed that.
Okay, next we'll go to Jake Malik. Jake, you can go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. So obviously playing Patrick Mahomes that's got to be tough. And, you kind of touched on it before, but how important is it really just to get pressure on Patrick, to make him uncomfortable in the pocket and maybe try and get him out of the pocket and hopefully disrupt his rhythm somewhat?
Yeah, it's super important. I think it's important for each and every single quarterback that you're going to play against, especially ones that have great arm talent, have the ability to run and make plays. We want to be in their face nonstop, having them have their eyes focused on us, one hitting them versus their eyes downfield to go and make plays. So we noticed as we watched the previous game that we played against them earlier on in the year, the first half he was nice and comfortable and had the ability to get the ball downfield and throw deep passes to the Cheetah and Travis Kelce and all the other guys that they have on that team. But closer to that second half, when we started to make a run to get back into that game, it was due to our front seven pressuring him and making sure that we were getting after him, and he was really running for his life. And so that's what we want to do from the first second to the last second of this upcoming Super Bowl.
Okay, next we'll go to Anthony Amy. Anthony, you can go ahead and unmute.
All right, I appreciate it. And Ndamukong, thanks for your patience in answering all of our questions. So I'm curious, with the whole coaching cycle and with everything going on, you guys obviously have the most diverse coaching staff in the league and in NFL history, for that matter. With the numbers that we see and hear all the time, how 70% of the league's players are Black, is it something that you all notice when Black head coaching candidates do not get what many believe are fair opportunities to lead their own teams? Is that something that the players notice? Is that something that the players discuss amongst themselves? And as far as your staff there, is there any doubt that the three coordinators that you all have could be head coaches? We know Todd Bowles has gotten his chance before. We hope he gets another one again. Is there any doubt about any of that?
Yeah, we definitely notice it, and I definitely notice it. I have conversations with people all the time about it, and it was probably most disappointing for myself recently to see a guy like Jim Caldwell, who I was with in Detroit, and had an amazing year, and just less than 1 year turned around that organization and was the winningest coach for the Detroit Lions, if I'm not mistaken. So for us as African American people to not see these guys that are well qualified and doing and proven candidates to not get opportunities, to get an opportunity to go and change an organization, especially an organization like Houston or any other ones and that have been available, is definitely disappointing. And so for me, I think it's disheartening, but at the same time, it's not our decision to make those changes. We just got to continue to fight and make sure that we're prepared at any point in time, or those guys are prepared at any point in time to get opportunities. And I think Coach Bowles is a great candidate in himself, and really just has to wait for the right situation. And also, you got to look at it on the flip side. He may not want to be a head coach at certain situations that may come up, because not every single head coaching position is one that's going to be the best for what he wants to accomplish and how he wants to run his organization as a head coach.
Okay, next we'll go to Dirk. Dirk, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Ndamukong, here in Omaha, there's a lot of talk about your Tampa defense with all your Nebraska connections. And one of the most interesting is after the 2009 season at Nebraska, you went and spoke at Boys Town.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the kids in the audience that day was Shaq Barrett.
Yep.
I know you've discussed that with him, but do you have any recollection of that? And secondly, what do you make of this guy that basically came out of nowhere? He was a Division II walk-on at UNO and, goes on to lead the NFL in sacks.
Yeah, I definitely remember my time of being up at Boys Town and seeing that train in the museum and whatnot. And so, uh, don't definitely didn't forget those pieces. Have definitely shared that nostalgia with Shaq. So, nonetheless, I see Shaq as a young man that has continued to blossom and just really just need an opportunity to play at a high level. And that's what was given to him these last 2 years, and he's made the most of it. And especially last year, being to be able to be a part of his success and coach him up on different aspects where he can see double teams. Because I've been able to see guys have 15, 20 sack seasons and see their success. And really, I mean, for myself, one with Aaron Donald the previous year, and then last year with Shaq, with the sack leaders. I mean, it's always great to be able to have that recollection, but just know that the next year is going to be that much more harder because people really have their eyes on it. And Shaq has done everything right and been focused to take care of business and be a dominant force for us.
Okay, next we'll go to John Romano. John, you can go ahead and unmute.
I apologize if this has come up earlier, but the Chiefs' offensive line has had a lot of injuries this year, even going back to last week. Is it a good idea for a defense to tailor its game plan based on some of those changes, or are you better off just doing what you do week in and week out?
Yeah, we notice those things and we understand it. And we understand that the NFL is a league where there's going to be injuries all the time, so you never know. And we really have always been focused on what we do and be able to focus on our particular crafts, no matter who's in front of us. We all feel and have the confidence that whoever we go up against, we're going to have an opportunity to win, especially if we continue to collectively work as a group. We'll reach that success. So whether it's a starting offensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs or a backup or a guy off the street, we feel like we're going to be able to have an opportunity to be successful as long as we hone into our craft and what we need to get done.
Okay, next we'll go to Elaine. You can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Ndamukong. So you were with the Dolphins in 2015 when Dan Campbell finished out the season as the interim head coach. So I wanted to get your thoughts on what you got out of him during that time and what your thoughts on him getting the Lions job now.
Yeah, Dan's a great guy. Had an amazing time with him being our interim head coach at the Dolphins. He's without question a player's coach, and have been able to stay in touch with him when he was at New Orleans, obviously playing them twice these last 2 years. You can see that fire in him as you saw in his press conference. So I'm excited for Detroit to have a guy like that. And I think he's going to be able to have an opportunity to bring some success. And guys just got to hone in and understand what they need to accomplish. He just got a great quarterback in Jared Goff, who I was in the Super Bowl with 2 years ago. So I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to do up there in Detroit.
Okay, next we'll go to Carmen from Bucks.com. You can go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Sue. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. I just want to go maybe a little bit back to what you were saying about, being with Aaron Donald, being with Shaq Barrett, these guys that lead the league in sacks. You're kind of a common denominator there, though. And I think that this year, especially, you guys have taken a huge step forward just in that interior pass rush. I talked to Casey just a little bit ago, and he's like, you and Will Golston led this team in quarterback hits. So how crucial has that kind of been to the success this year of this pass rush, and how, crucial will it be to go against Kansas City with, that mindset that you guys need to get pressure from the interior?
Yeah, no, I definitely appreciate the comment about being a common denominator. I pride myself on making guys around me better and being able to, even if you are already elite, making you even that much more better. So definitely excited about that. And we really have focused on having the opportunity as our front seven, and especially interior guys, myself and Will, of just working on our craft and being able to say, I mean, we're just as athletic, just as fast. We fight all the time. Who's more athletic between me and Will? And so we had really a running bet, like who's going to get to the quarterback first and who's going to hit them and get their quarterback hits and whatnot. So just being able to be competitive is an aspect of us as a collective group, and that's just really been infectious in a positive way. And so we're excited about that, and we want to continue to do that. And my best friend would definitely appreciate you making that comment about the common denominator, because he always says that about myself.
Okay, next question, we will go to Jason from Florida Sun. Jason, you can go ahead and unmute.
How you doing, Mr. Suh?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to see you guys in the Super Bowl at home. That's historic.
Yes, it is.
Two-part question.
Mhm.
You faced Kansas City before, and you're a veteran. Do you see this as your opportunity to claim a ring, considering that this is your second Super Bowl, I believe? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you that you got Vita Vea right next to you back again?
I'll answer your second question first. I'm elated to have Vita next to me. He's a great talent, great young man, a little brother to me that I've grown to love and love playing next to and with. And then to your first question, it's only right. I mean, one, we played them earlier on the season. Unfortunately, we did not take care of business, but they are the previous champions. And if you want to be a champion yourself, it's only right to beat the previous champion. And we have that opportunity to. And I think being able to hone into that and focus and be at home is even just that much more icing on the cake. And I'm excited to have that opportunity.
Okay, so we've gotten through all of the raised hands, but if you could just sit tight for 5 more minutes in case any other media pop in with questions.
Mhm.
Anyone here, if you have any additional questions, feel free to go ahead, raise your hand, and we can get to you right now. Okay, so we will take one from Sam. You can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Ndamukong. You obviously had options as to where you wanted to go after last season, and you kind of chose to come back. Did you sense there was something special about what was about to happen at the end of last season? And did you feel like something was going to come together the way that it has?
Yeah, without question. And obviously being able to see that Tom Brady and Gronk were able to get signed here from an offensive perspective, but first and foremost from a defensive perspective, being able to see the young guys, their transformation in what they've been able to do in the previous 19 season to where they're at right now. It's just remarkable, and that's the expectations that we had for them, and that's what I knew that they were able to do, and then be able to keep our front seven together. Myself, Vita, Will, Shaq, and JPP, and add some pieces in there with McClendon and Nacho. We were excited about this, and I knew we had an opportunity to do something special. It's just about us putting in that work and being able to execute, which we've been able to do so far. And we've got one more game to complete that and become champions, hopefully.
Does anyone else have any questions for Ndamukong? If not, we'll just have you sit tight for, like I said, about 4 or 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Oh, we have another one right here from Jason. Jason, you can go ahead and unmute.
Thank you for the second question. Ndamukong, what have you learned from the first game that you could use or utilize in the second game against this Kansas City front, considering that they're missing 2 of their offensive linemen?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us, we got hurt on big plays. We gave up too many big plays early on, especially in that second quarter of that game. We gave up some rushing yards as well. And really the biggest thing was allowing the quarterback to use his feet to make plays versus us getting after the quarterback from a front seven and making it living hell for him. And we did that a little bit in the second half. Shaq got after him. I got after him, as well as JPP. So being back at full force, as you mentioned, being able to get Vita back and them having some injuries on offensive line, we want to be able to take advantage of those pieces. And really, we have the confidence, no matter who's lining up against us as a front seven, we believe that we'll be able to be successful as long as we execute and get the job done that we know how to.
Okay, and we'll take our next question from John Shearer. John, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hello, Ndamukong. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. I was curious what you think about Matt Stafford getting an opportunity elsewhere, seeing as you both played in Detroit.
Yeah, I think he wanted to be out there and wanted the opportunity to get out of Detroit. I think it was mutual, from my understanding, outside looking in, and I believe he had decision-making power to decide where that was going to be. and so he chose LA, and that's really good for him. Hopefully, we get a chance to play against them next year, wherever I might be. Hopefully, here in Tampa, and go from there.